The fluorescent lights of the supermarket buzzed quietly, casting a sterile glow over aisles filled with neatly stacked products. Most shoppers moved with predictable purpose, pushing carts, grabbing items, and checking off their lists. But in the corner near the bakery, a small, almost imperceptible motion caught the attention of Officer Daniel Hayes. A little girl, no more than 7, stood clutching her mother's hand, but there was something unusual about the way she moved her fingers. It wasn't playful or curious, it was deliberate. She made a silent hand signal, a subtle motion that spoke volumes to anyone trained to notice signs of distress. Daniel's instincts kicked in immediately. He had seen this once before, a quiet plea hidden in plain sight, and he knew that behind her wide, scared eyes was a story that needed to be heard. Before I continue, if you believe in the power of kindness and second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. This story proves that even a small act can change a life. The girl's name was Emily, and for the past 3 years, her life had been a silent battlefield. Her mother, overwhelmed and struggling with personal demons, had unknowingly become a source of fear for her. Emily had learned to hide her terror behind innocent smiles, masking bruises that she prayed would fade before anyone noticed. She had discovered the hand signal during a school safety seminar, an emergency gesture to silently ask for help without alerting the abuser. She had practiced it countless times in front of the bathroom mirror, tracing the invisible lines in her mind, wishing she would never need to use it. But today, in aisle 7, surrounded by shoppers oblivious to her reality, she had no choice. Officer Hayes approached slowly, keeping his demeanor calm so as not to alarm her. The supermarket was crowded, with families laughing, employees restocking shelves, and the soft hum of refrigeration units blending into the background. But Emily's eyes were fixated on him now, wide with a mix of fear and hope. Her tiny hand trembled slightly as she repeated the signal. Daniel crouched to her level, his voice soft but firm. He reassured her that she was safe, that help was on the way, and that no harm would come to her while he was near. Emily, barely able to speak, nodded, relief washing over her like sunlight breaking through clouds. Emily's mother, unaware that anyone had noticed, was in another part of the store, her mind consumed with a shopping list and her own anxieties. She didn't see the silent struggle unfolding. Emily, however, had rehearsed every detail of this moment in her mind countless times. She knew that once she made the call for help, nothing could go back to the way it was. Her heart pounded with both fear and anticipation. This was her chance to escape a cycle that had trapped her in silence for far too long. Daniel guided Emily to a quiet corner near the pharmacy, far enough from prying eyes. He asked her to take a deep breath, to tell him what had been happening. Through shaky words and tears that spilled over like a dam breaking, Emily began to recount the nights of fear, the whispered threats, the bruises hidden beneath long sleeves, and the constant tension that had stolen her childhood. Each word felt like a weight lifting, a burden that had been carried alone for far too long. Daniel listened with the patience of 1,000 lifetimes, knowing that trust was fragile and that Emily had only allowed herself to speak because she had sensed genuine safety. Meanwhile, the store's manager, noticing the unusual situation, called emergency services discreetly. The atmosphere shifted from mundane normalcy to urgent concern, though the rest of the shoppers remained blissfully unaware. Within minutes, a team of social workers arrived, prepared to ensure Emily's immediate safety and begin the long, delicate process of care. The social worker knelt beside her, offering a warm blanket and a comforting presence, while Daniel stayed close, providing the security she had craved for years. For the first time in a long while, Emily felt that perhaps life could be different, that hope was not just an abstract idea but a tangible possibility. As Emily was guided out of the store, she cast one last look over her shoulder at the bustling aisles, at the people who had no idea the storm she had endured quietly. In that glance was a mixture of fear, gratitude, and an emerging courage. She was leaving behind a life she had never asked for, stepping into uncertainty, yet with a glimmer of hope that she had never dared to believe in before. Daniel watched her go, silently promising that he would follow up, that he would ensure she had the support she needed to thrive. It was in these small, quiet acts that the world changed, one life at a time. In the days that followed, Emily began a journey that would redefine her existence. She was placed in a safe home, surrounded by caring adults who understood her needs. School counselors, therapists, and social workers worked tirelessly to help her process the trauma, to give her the tools to reclaim her childhood. And slowly, cautiously, Emily began to smile again, to laugh, to play without fear. Every small victory was celebrated, each step forward a testament to resilience and courage. Daniel, too, carried the impact of that day with him. As a police officer, he had seen countless cases, but there was something uniquely profound about recognizing a silent cry for help and turning it into life-saving action. He reflected often on the importance of vigilance, of noticing what others overlook, and the responsibility to act decisively when it mattered most. The image of Emily's hand signal stayed with him, a reminder that sometimes the smallest gestures can carry the heaviest weight of meaning. Emily's story spread quietly through the community, shared by those who believed in the power of observation and compassion. Neighbors, schools, and local organizations began emphasizing the importance of teaching children how to seek help safely, how to recognize when someone is in danger, and how one attentive adult can make a life-altering difference. Emily, now surrounded by love and stability, began to participate in outreach programs herself, teaching other children that their voices mattered, that their signals for help could be recognized, and that no one should endure suffering in silence. One rainy afternoon, several months after that fateful supermarket visit, Emily returned to the same store with her foster family. The aisles were the same, the fluorescent lights the same, yet everything felt different. She walked with a sense of confidence she had never known, her small hand firmly holding the hand of the foster parent who had become a steady anchor in her life. Passing by the bakery, she paused and glanced around, a quiet smile tugging at her lips. It was a place that had witnessed her vulnerability and her courage, a location where her silent plea had finally been heard and answered. She realized that while she couldn't erase the pain of the past, she could honor it by living fully, by allowing hope and kindness to guide her path forward. Daniel, too, had changed. That case reminded him that law enforcement was not just about enforcing rules but about protecting the vulnerable, about seeing the invisible struggles that people carried, often hidden in plain sight. He began conducting community workshops on child safety and awareness, sharing the story in a professional, confidential manner to educate others without violating Emily's privacy. His efforts helped other officers, teachers, and even regular citizens recognize the subtle signs of abuse, empowering them to act before tragedy could strike. Through all of this, Emily learned that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it's the quiet choice to reach out, to signal for help in the faintest way, trusting that someone will notice. Her hand, once trembling with fear, now moved with purpose and hope. She carried a resilience that could not be diminished, a spark that had been ignited in that ordinary supermarket aisle on an ordinary day that became extraordinary. Her journey was far from over, but the foundation of safety, love, and empowerment had been laid. She excelled in school, pursued art and music, and began to form friendships with peers who encouraged her, valued her, and respected her boundaries. Slowly, the trauma that had once defined her life became a chapter, not the entire story. Emily's life was no longer about hiding in silence, it was about speaking, creating, and inspiring others to recognize their worth and the worth of those around them. Near the end of her story, viewers, if this story has touched your hearts, please take a moment to like, comment, and share this video. Your engagement helps spread awareness, empathy, and the knowledge that even the smallest gesture can save a life. Before we close, I'd like to ask you to comment below about a time you witnessed an act of courage or kindness, big or small, that made a difference in someone's life. Sharing these stories can inspire others and remind us that hope exists in every corner of our world. Emily's journey reminds us all that attention and compassion are powerful. That a single moment of noticing, a quiet hand signal, and the courage to act can break cycles of suffering. It teaches that safety is not just about protection but about listening, seeing, and validating the experiences of those who cannot speak loudly. And it reminds us that, sometimes, ordinary places, supermarkets, schools, neighborhoods, can become arenas of extraordinary courage, where the smallest signals can ignite a lifetime of hope.